welcome to my channel once again. In this video we are going to discuss about certain tips and various things or points that you should keep in mind if you are thinking of appearing in IELTS exam, especially in the general module, that is if you are appearing for IELTS for the purpose of immigrating to Canada. Now in this video I'll be discussing certain tips on letter writing, which is writing task 1. But before that, I would like to make it clear that this video is going to be in mixed language, that is in Hindi and English, so that जिन लोगों को पूरी इंग्लिश समझने में अभी भी कोई दिक्कत है, कोई परेशानी आ रही है, तो उनको ये सारे पॉइंट्स जो हैं वो क्लियर हो जाएं, so that they can focus on their writing skills. However, I would still suggest कि जो भी अभी आप improve करने का सोच रहे हो, you should try listening to more of English videos rather than the videos in Hindi, even if चाहे आप उनको समझने के लिए ही कोशिश कर रहे हो, but try to understand the video in English so that it improves you, it helps you improve your band score as well.
So before we go any further, let me make it clear once again that what are all the things that are going to be covered in this particular video. So it has to be the format that needs to be covered, format of the letter of course, and after that we will be talking about a sample question, and all the discussion would be based on that sample question only. And of course I'll be sharing certain tips aside from sharing with you a sample question or format. So बिना फॉर्मेट और सैम्पल क्वेश्चन के हम कुछ टिप्स की भी बात करेंगे कि किन चीजों को ध्यान में रख के आप एक अच्छी लेटर राइटिंग कर सकते हैं जिससे आपका बैंड स्कोर भी इम्प्रूव होगा. और अब हम बात करते हैं कि कैसे आपको पता लगेगा कि 7 बैंड्स आपके कैसे आएंगे, right? So what are those things, what are those pointers that you need to keep in mind so that you are sure that you are worthy of writing a 7 band essay or letter, because इस वीडियो में हम letter की बात कर रहे हैं, right?
Now the chart that you just saw on the PPT is about how the examiner is going to mark your essay or letter. So in this video we will be talking about what are all the things, the 4 components that you need to understand so that the examiner has a fair idea that you also know that what are those things or what are those pointers when it comes to language or grammar that should be kept in mind. Okay, and this will show the examiner that you are a good expert or a professional user of English language. So let's discuss these points. In this video I'll be discussing about 7, 8 and 9 band score, not below that. Okay, and I'll tell you that if you want to score a 9 band score, then what are the things or how should your writings look like, and if you want to score a 7 band score, then how should your writing look like. So let's look at it once again in detail.
Now look at this chart and we'll be discussing the 7 band score first of all. Now if we look at the 7 band score first of all, now it says that when it comes to task achievement, you need to understand that what do we mean by the task achievement, by the term task achievement. अब जब भी हम task achievement की बात करते हैं तो it means the question that has been asked to you. तो जो भी question आपसे पूछा जाएगा उस question को आपने पूरी तरह से पूरा किया है या नहीं, satisfy करा है या नहीं, इसका मतलब है task achievement, right? तो अगर आपको 7 band चाहिए तो उसका मतलब है that you cover the requirement of the task, right? कि जो भी टास्क की रिक्वायरमेंट्स थी वो आपने सारी पूरी करी है. अगर उसमें आपको 3 क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए हैं, आपने तीनों का जवाब अच्छे तरीके से अगर दिया है, दैट मींस यू हैव बीन एबल टू सेटिस्फाई द टास्क. उसके बाद जनरल ट्रेनिंग में हमें इन चीजों का ध्यान करना होता है कि आप जब भी टास्क को प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं तो देयर हैज टू बी अ क्लियर पर्पस विद द टोन consistent and appropriate. कि जिस tone में भी आप बात कर रहे हैं वो clear हो. Examiner should also know that you are clear about the purpose of the task, and it should clearly present and highlight key features, bullet points, but could be more fully extended. इसको key features, जो भी आपने key features हैं वो सारे आपने present करे हैं, right? But there is still a chance of extending it, right? अब इसीलिए तो आपको 7 bands मिल रहे हैं ना. That is why you are getting a 7 band and not an 8 or a 9. That there are still chances of improvement, but still they will be able to give you a 7 band score if you have fulfilled all the requirements of the task within. Now moving on to the coherence and cohesion part. So this is the clarity, the flow in the essay, right? So logically organizes information and ideas. So if you are someone who has logically organized the information and ideas, and there is clear progression throughout, that it is seen in your writing as well, that now you have moved from one point to the other, right? Then you are likely to get a 7 bands. Uses a range of cohesive devices appropriately, although there may be some under or over usage. Now, what are cohesive devices? For example, you are, clearly using the transitional words or phrases like firstly, secondly, in my opinion. So from this, the examiner knows that you are using these pointers, right? And they know, that you know what you are supposed to do, because there is a constant progression throughout in your essay. क्योंकि जब भी essay या letter आप लिख रहे हो, उनको पता लग रहा है कि आपका एक point खत्म हो गया है, and now you are discussing the second point. So this is what they mean by coherence and cohesion. Now next comes the lexical resource. Now lexical resource is nothing but your vocabulary, your language skills. Now using the sufficient range of vocabulary to allow some flexibility and precision. तो अगर आप एक sufficient range of vocabulary use कर रहे हो, right? For example, अगर आपको show करना है that you are happy, तब भी आप यही कह रहे हो I am good. आपको किसी food के बारे में show करना है, तब भी आप use कर रहे हो the food is good. So the examiner knows that you do not have a sufficient range of vocabulary, and that is why you lose marks. But if you know, you can say that I am elated, I am feeling wonderful, I am feeling overjoyed, and when it comes to food, you know that it has to be delicious and not simply good. So the examiner knows कि इसके पास vocabulary है हर type की situation के लिए. He does not or she does not wants you to be Shashi Tharoor, right? But आपके पास उतनी vocabulary होनी चाहिए कि आपकी बात हर situation में examiner के पास clear हो, right? Uses less common lexical terms with some awareness of style and collocation. आप less common lexical terms कभी जब use करते हो, एक आध difficult word आप use करते हो जो commonly used नहीं है, then also you're likely to get a 7 band in writing. May produce occasional errors in word choice, spelling, and or word formation. Now there can be occasional errors in spelling. For example, in received you put I or E interchangeably, right? And you did not realize it. It's, not a bad situation for you, but there should not be too many. There can be occasional errors. Now next is grammatical range and vocabulary. So what do they expect from you when it comes to grammatical range and vocabulary? So first is uses a variety of complex sentences. Now these sentences are important. So complex sentence, if I have to tell you in short, is a combination of one complete and another incomplete sentence joined together with a conjunction or a connector. I'll make a separate video on this because you will not be able to get a good band score if you do not have, enough complex structures or complex sentences in your writing. Next is produces frequent error-free sentences. अब जितने भी आपने sentences लिखे हैं, उनमें अगर errors कम हैं, then also you can get 7 band score. Has good control of grammar and punctuation, but make a few errors. Now it is evident, up to error is human. हर किसी से गलती होती है. Even I make mistakes, right? और एक आध अगर आप गलती कर रहे हो writing task में, then it doesn't matter. But वो देखते हैं कि आपका control है language पे, grammar पे, spelling, right? And then you are likely to get a 7 bands, right? You can take a screenshot of this one and read it at your leisure, that what are the other things that you need to keep in mind. But as far as the other band scores are concerned, like a 7 and an 8 band, 8 and a 9 band, I'll show you how it is different from a 7 band. Now see, if we look at the 9 band, अब टास्क अचीवमेंट में था कि कवर करते हो आप रिक्वायरमेंट जो भी टास्क की हैं, बट 9 में आप फुली सेटिस्फाई करते हो ऑल द रिक्वायरमेंट्स को, मियरली कवर नहीं कर रहे हो कि हाँ मैंने 3 पॉइंट बनाने थे और मैंने 3 लिख दिए हैं, बट आप उसको फुली satisfy कर रहे हो एग्जामिनर को that you have actually studied the question, understood it and written it well. Clearly represents a fully developed response. So there has to be a fully developed response. You know, it's a saying in the world of teaching grammar that your essay should finish and not come to a stop automatically, right? तो आपको खत्म करना है उसको flow के साथ एक पूरा. There has to be a proper introduction, body paragraph and an ending to your essay or letter. Only then you can get 9 bands. Now coherence and cohesion uses cohesion in such a way that it attracts no attention. So this means that, you know, there is a smooth flow. There is a smooth flow. Like I have seen people, you know, with 5.5 bands as well, using all the cohesion or transition words like however, moreover, because. But instead of making it easy, they make it difficult for the examiner to understand. कई बार मुझे भी वो लाइन 3-4 बार पढ़नी पड़ती है कि यहाँ पे वाकई में मोर ओवर या हाउ एवर का यूज करना था या उसने वैसे ही लगा दिया, राइट? So it should not be just for the sake of writing it, but there should be a proper cohesion that is unnoticeable, right? And then skillfully manages paragraphing. The skill of paragraphing is very important in a 9 band score. You should not be, you know, treating paragraph as a design on a page or a paper कि मुझे 4 लाइन कंप्लीट करने के बाद एक पैराग्राफ चेंज करना है, but there has to be something that, you know, कुछ पॉइंट होना चाहिए, कुछ कंटेंट होना चाहिए उसमें कि एक पॉइंट मेरा पूरा हो गया और अब मैं दूसरा पैराग्राफ शुरू कर रहा हूँ. नेक्स्ट इज लेक्सिकल. अब इसमें आएगा वाइड रेंज होती है. अब the difference is to be noted here. In this case, it's a sufficient range in band 7, but here it's a wide range with very natural and sophisticated control of lexical feature, which is missing in most of our writings. इसमें natural नहीं है. अब I have seen people जिसमें जो word fit भी नहीं होता, merely, you know, for the sake of putting that word, we will put that word in that sentence, which is not a natural usage of the word, and that is how the examiner knows कि आपने ये रट्टा लगाया हुआ है and you are simply writing it. So we need to change this as well. Next is grammatical range and accuracy. Uses a wide range of structure with full flexibility and accuracy, and rare minor errors occur only as slips. तो इसमें क्या होता है कि uses a wide range of structures with full flexibility. आप full flexibility के साथ wide range use कर रहे हो structures की, complex, compound, compound complex, passive voice, और उसमें accuracy भी है और कुछ ना कुछ गलती है, ज्यादा नहीं है, right? So this is all about, you know, understanding that how can you write an essay or a letter for that matter ताकि आपके कम से कम 7 bands आए. So there are 4 things. Task achievement उसकी मैं बात करूंगी थोड़ी देर में. Coherence और cohesion होनी चाहिए. Lexical resource, vocabulary is important, and of course grammatical range and accuracy. So this is a sample question of a letter that you are going to get in your examination. So let's read it together and try to see how can we plan it as an answer. So the question is, write a letter to your friend and congratulate him for getting a student visa to study in Canada. Now, from the very first line, we know that this letter is going to be an informal letter. And how do we know that? Because we are supposed to write it to our friend. And why are we writing this letter? To congratulate him because he has got a student visa or a study permit to study in Canada. Now, any question in letter will also have 3 pointers. The first one is ask him about his study program. So you have to ask him like what is he going to study. Next is offer him to help him pack or shop, and third is ask about his stay or flight details, right? And the word limit is 150 words. They have also given us how to start the letter. So in this case, you do not have to write any address or anything, and the topic statement will tell you what type of letter is it, and in this case it is informal letter, right? And the 3 pointers are also given to you, and this is how you are going to form the structure of the letter as well, based on these 3 points. These are important. Now this is when your imagination is going to play a great role, because if you do not have any imagination, if you cannot imagine the scenario, how are you supposed to write it? Am I correct? Right? So you need to understand कि question की demand क्या है, और उस हिसाब से आप एक situation create करोगे, imagine करोगे, and then you will plan your letter, your pointers, और उसके बाद आप लिखना शुरू करोगे. अब इसमें आपको क्वेश्चन पढ़ के ये पता चल ही चुका होगा कि ये इनफॉर्मल लेटर है, अपने फ्रेंड को लिखनी है, राइट? So let's see what are the other things that we need to keep in mind.
Now, if you remember, at the start of the video, I told you how important task achievement is. Now, in the coming slide, I will tell you what do we mean by task achievement and how can we achieve that task achievement part in order to get a good band score.
Now, if we look at the task achievement part, how are you going to achieve your task? You will keep in mind the 3 points that were there, and I have also mentioned it here. Ask him about his study program. So imagination is important here, right? So what are you going to ask him about? Study program. So what will you ask about study program? You can ask about the stream that he has opted the program, right? And you can also ask about the length of the program, the college that he or she is going to take admission in, right? Which intake is it? And also, how did he apply for the program? Now, when I say all these things, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप एक पैराग्राफ में ये सारी चीजें पूछोगे. This is the role of your imagination. कि आप imagination use करके उसको कुछ भी पूछ सकते हो, either the stream, the length or anything, because आपकी लेटर जो है वो 150 वर्ड्स की है, राइट? और अगर आपको 3 पैराग्राफ्स बनाने हैं तो that means इसमें 40-50 वर्ड्स का एक पैराग्राफ होना चाहिए. और पैराग्राफ को आप कैसे डिवाइड करोगे? जो आपका फर्स्ट पॉइंट है, this will be your first paragraph, right? And the second point will be your second paragraph. For example, offer him to help him pack or shop. Now, in this case, you can help him that I am willing to come with you if you require me for shopping, right? Or packing purposes. तो आप इसमें कहाँ कुछ चीज suggest कर सकते हो, right? Maybe suggest him some places to shop. और मे बी इफ यू ऑलरेडी हैव समथिंग, आपके पास कुछ सामान पड़ा है जो आपको लगता है वो लेके जा सकता है, पैकिंग में हेल्प करेगा, तो आप उसको वो भी बोल सकते हो. फॉर एग्जांपल, यू कैन टेल हिम दैट आई हैव द वैक्यूम बैग्स, यू कैन स्टोर अ लॉट ऑफ योर स्टफ इन दोस बैग्स आफ्टर वैक्यूम, राइट? सो यू कैन ऑफर टू गिव हिम दैट. सो दिस इज, आई जस्ट थॉट ऑफ इट, राइट? सो यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट द प्लान, और तभी आपके पास कंटेंट आएगा. आस्क अबाउट हिज stay or flight details. Now this is the second point. The third point would be ask about his stay or flight details. So this point, or this paragraph rather, right? So third point gives you the third paragraph. अब आप उसमें क्या पूछ सकते हो कि where are you going to stay, right? Which flight? When is he leaving? All those things. Right? So your planning is of utmost important, and planning is the result of a good imagination. अगर आप imagine कर रहे हो चीजों को, right? तभी आप एक अच्छा essay या letter जो है वो लिख पाओगे.
Now, after the task achievement, when you know how to paraphrase the letter, the next important thing is format of the letter. कि आपको कैसे उस letter को complete तरीके से show करना है, that you know your letter looks complete. So let's look at the next slide.
Obviously, the letter will start from the word dear. Now, it's not something obvious, but in IELTS exam, usually you will get the clue as to how to start your letter. For example, in this letter also it was given dear, right? Now, in case of an informal letter, you will be starting it with the first name. For example, think of a name of your friend and start it with his first name, right? But if it's a formal letter, we usually start it with the second name, and also we will be using a salutation as well. For example, Mr., Mrs., Doctor, whatever it is, right? And then we will write the last name of the person. Next is 3 paragraphs as per the pointers given in the question, right? Of course, the first paragraph will have the introduction as well, and then it is a complimentary conclusion, like yours lovingly if it's an informal letter, or you can write sincerely if it's a formal letter.
After having discussed the format of the letter, it's also important to discuss the language of the letter. Now the question in this video was an informal letter, तो इसीलिए हम इस लेटर में इस वीडियो में रादर बात करेंगे कि लैंग्वेज जो है आपकी इनफॉर्मल लेटर की वो कैसी होनी चाहिए. बिकॉज फॉर्मल लेटर हम सबको पता है कि उसमें हम शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स नहीं यूज़ कर सकते हैं, कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस नहीं यूज़ कर सकते हैं, फ्रेजल वर्ब्स नहीं यूज़ कर सकते हैं. बट इसमें we are a little liberal, we can use these things, और हम उसमें डिटेल में बात करेंगे कि what should be the language of an informal letter.
Now see, in an informal letter, you can use phrasal verbs, which are usually avoided in a formal scenarios because these are informal things, right? For example, thank you for putting up with me, right? I'll pick you up, right? Rather than saying I'll see you at the airport, right? So these are the things that you can use. After that, starting of the letter can be informal. So you do not need to write, I am writing this to congratulate, right? So you can simply start, hey buddy, congratulations on getting a visa to Canada, right? Anything like that. It can be informal, like you talk to your friends. Contractions can be used. Short forms भी हम use कर सकते हैं. For example, she is की जगह पे हम she apostrophe s लगा सकते हैं. I would की जगह पे we'll write I apostrophe D. And then try using a variety of sentences. This is most important. Whether it's informal or formal, it doesn't matter. You can use complex, compound, right? Question statements, anything. Next is use synonym. Do not repeat one word. For example, if you say, I will be free next weekend, if you are also free, try and meet me, right? So instead of using the same word time and again, use a different word. For example, instead of free, you can also use available the second time you wish to use the same word, that I am free this weekend. If you are available, let me know, right? So this shows that you have a wide range of vocabulary or sufficient range of vocabulary to be examined as well, right?
So after having discussed all the important things that we need to keep in mind, let's do a recap of all the key things that we need to remember before you start writing your essay or letter in your exam.
The key things to remember are task achievement. Task achievement, as we have discussed time and again, that all the 3 points should be included in the form of 3 paragraphs in your essay. Sorry, not your essay, letter, right? Then range of vocabulary. As I gave you the example of free, available, I also gave you the example of good and delicious available, right? तो आपके पास अलग अलग वर्ड्स होने चाहिए सेम सिनेरियो के लिए, अगर आपको उसी सिनेरियो की बात एक ही लेटर में करनी पड़ रही है. Coherence or flow in writing. So this is very important. When you are finishing one point and moving on to the second point, it should be automatic. ये ना हो कि अब मुझे करना ही थी second point के बाद, but उसका पहले वाले point से कोई link नहीं है, right? So there has to be a flow. And I'll be making a video how can you achieve a flow or coherence in your writing. Now imagination, as I told you that when it comes to pointers, आपको pointers तो मिल जाएंगे which make your task easy, but imagination भी होनी चाहिए, right? अगर उन्होंने बोला है that you have to ask him about the stay, तो आप उसको stay से related क्या पूछ सकते हो? Are you going to stay in a hotel with relatives? या अगर आपको कोई जानता है तो you can tell them that you can stay with them, right? Then spellings and punctuation, you need to be very careful of this, like where to put a comma, where to put a dash, where to put a full stop, exclamation, question mark, capitalization of the words, accurate grammar and sentence structure. So the sentences that you're going to write has to be in accurate grammar. Next is variety of sentences and phrases. So there has to be a variety. ये नहीं है कि अगर आप मान लीजिए complex sentence लिख रहे हो तो सारे ही complex बना दिए, क्योंकि simple भी तो होने चाहिए ना कुछ sentence. Compound होने चाहिए, compound complex होने चाहिए, passive voice में होने चाहिए, right? So variety is all that is important in IELTS exam. I hope you liked today's video and I could help you in some manner. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more such videos. And I'm sure you know many people who are trying to prepare for IELTS or wishing to immigrate to Canada. Do share my channel with them. And thank you for watching the video. See you soon in the next video. Bye bye. Take care.